Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. What I'm going to be showing is my recording setup, so I don't have to have so many questions being asked about it, though I'm sure I'll probably still get some from doing this, but either way it's about time that I actually did a subscriber special. As you can see, I've got two monitors right here. The one that's actually on is my computer, the other one's TV monitor. So basically we're going to be going through how I set up my recording device and also my sound, which isn't as hard, but either way, point still stands. As you can see, Diamond VC5000 obviously doesn't have anything in it because I've already got it out, but regardless, it's still there. It'll come with a set of extender cables, which will be the red, white, and yellow cables that I don't have out. It'll also come with this CD, which is your installation CD. Obviously, it's going to come with that as well. It'll come with the instruction packet, and obviously it will come with the capture card itself. New, that's going to be about $50, I'd say. It might be a little bit less if you can find it on Amazon or eBay, and finding it used, of course, will obviously be less. But either way, the actual capture device, it stops right here, where you can't really see, and also right here on the other end. So on this end, you have a USB outlet. That's pretty standard. You just plug it into this side of the computer. You can plug it in the back, front, doesn't matter. It'll work either way. And assuming you've already got it set up, you're going to get this blue light right here. So I'm trying not to shine it in your face. And obviously, this isn't the typical Wii set of cables that you have. You typically have ones with little gray cords right here instead of white. This is a different set, but I'll get into that later. Obviously, you've got four different things right here. You have your red, white, and yellow cables, and you have this little black one over here. Red, white, and yellow are pretty basic. Red and white are obviously for sound, one for each speaker. The yellow one is typically for the video, but you can also use this one, and this one is actually an S-video cable. It comes with a capture card. And if you get a special set of cables that'll be for the Wii, that'll be red, white, and yellow. It'll instead be a red, white. There's a yellow back here, you can't really see it. It's back here though, I'll explain that in a minute. And also this S-video cable, so you can plug into that. And that's basically just better quality. That's about the only difference there is. So if you're using just red, white, and yellow, it'll look fine. It's just going to look a little bit better with S-video, not like HD or anything like that, but it'll still look fine regardless. So moving down here, we've got obviously my Wii, which is what it's hooked up to right now, and obviously the splitter. Now, if you're just going to plug this straight from your USB over there to your capture card right here into the Wii, if you're just going to do it normally, that works just fine. You can do it that way. And what you'll do is, after doing that and installing it onto the Easy Grabber software, you'll be able to click on it. And it'll pop up right here. As you can see, it's completely blank right now, but it's supposed to be like that. Down here, you've got your little option set. Let me scroll in right here for you guys. You got your little option set. If I can move in a little bit closer here and have the screen adjust. You got the X, which just closes out the folder, which whenever you're done, you click on the folder and it'll pull this up. So you can pull out your videos onto your desktop or whatever. You have a screenshot little button right here. This will take a screenshot of something that you're doing in game. This is the record button, so you'll press that to record. You'll press this to stop. And that's about it. Alright, quick little intermission here. Quick thing that I did not show, I'm going to zoom this in a little bit here, is whenever you are actually going through all of this and we have this first set up, there's one other button that I need you all to click on, and that is right here where it says Setup. So if we click on that, we get this little options menu right here. I'm actually going to scroll back out so you can see it a little bit better. And then move in. Now, pretty much on here, there's not too much. I'm going to move this so it's a little bit easier to see, and then click on it again. So I can actually move it out of the way, set up. There. So you can see it over here. There's a couple little tabs at the top. There's video, capture button, snapshot, and record. Really quickly, if you're not getting video on this, you need to go to the video format right here, and it'll pull up a couple of options. The only two that work for me are the first two, so if it sets anything else and it works for you, it might just be computer or whatever. But some of them won't give you the same thing. For example, if I switch to this one, it will give a picture that's all black and white and choppy. So obviously you want to switch on the video format to whichever one you want to use, whichever one has the best quality. Like I said, it's only the first two for me, which are the NTSCs. Both of those work for me. The other ones don't. The PAL M1 was the one that y'all just saw that had the black and white on it. Be sure to also, if you're using the S-Video, to make sure you change it from composite to S-Video on here. Other than that, you can check the adjustment by changing the brightness, make it light or dark, either or. You can set the contrast to make it look however you want, and that's changing the contrast. You can change the hue, which obviously changes the colors, or you can have it set to the default, which default will work every time, so I recommend obviously the default. On the capture button, that just makes sure that you have the snapshot or capture video. The snapshot one will just basically tell you where it will automatically save it and how it will save it as, whether it's a JPEG or a BMP or if there's anything else on here. The record format, lastly, just tells you how you want to record it. Since I convert mine to WMVs, I don't bother switching it to WMV. However, I've noticed whenever I record it in the WMV, it tends to be pretty bad quality, as opposed to if I record it in DVD and then switch it over, it seems to retain its quality pretty well. And lastly, the save folder, which since you drag that out of the folder instead of saving it, and I just drag it on my desktop, that really doesn't matter. So, with that being said, back to the video. You can watch it back on here, or you can watch it back on your, depending on what you have, whether it's media player or anything like that. If you pull it out on your desktop, you can watch it there as well. So you don't have to watch it on this. Once you're done, either one works. Go ahead and zoom back out real quick. Out, not in, you doof. There you go. So right now it is plugged in correctly, all the cables are in. The reason this isn't on is because the Wii isn't on. So if I turn the power on, it looks like it's on green. It's actually on yellow, which means it has Wi-Fi. But if I switch it to green, as you can see, it's obviously got the typical Wii startup screen. Let me get my Wii remote here. Press A to continue. And I've got the sound right here. You might be able to hear it. You can hear it pretty well. So yeah, it still pulls up, and you could navigate it this way too. Like, I still have the Wii pointer. I could go play a game. I could go play Mario 64, Mario Party 2, Majora's Mask, whatever. I could go do that right now. The thing is, though, on this, it's going to be kind of hard to tell, so let's show Mega Man, I guess. There is a little bit of delay in doing this if you just set it up the normal way, which means you don't use the splitter, you don't use the S-Video. It's going to have a little bit of lag on it. Not a terribly high amount, but a little bit. So, just choose one of the stages. It doesn't really matter. In this case, I guess it'll be Cut Man. When it's ever it's ready, you can see that there's a little bit of lag. Let's see if I can get this right here. Whenever I'm pressing the 2 button, it's kind of hard to tell, but there'll be just a little bit of delay. Just a little bit of delay from that, and depending on how good your computer is, there might not be a lot. It's not going to matter a terribly high amount, but depending on how good or bad your computer is, it may be even slower than that. And for a game like Mega Man, if you're going to do anything that, requires really quick actions, then it might be a problem. If you're not going to do anything like that, then you don't really need a splitter, and you don't have to worry about it. So, going to the point of the splitter now, I'm going to go ahead and leave this up so you may hear it in the background. I don't know. Going to the point of the splitter, what we have back here is actually the setup to get it to hook up to both this computer screen and the TV. Because normally if you just set it up that way, it would be hooked up to the computer, you wouldn't need a TV for anything. So what we have down here is, now that it's actually hooked up to this, you can see this cable which already had the red, white, and yellows on it. You can see from there. Let me zoom back out here. Red, white, and yellow cables, they actually go back into this. This is where you have your typical red, white, and yellow cable for the Wii. So it's getting plugged in the same spot. This is obviously the sensor bar. That's still the same. Power outlet, still the same. So nothing back here actually changes. The Wii doesn't change. What changes is actually having the splitter. Now, I said earlier that the white end of this has a red, white, yellow, and S-Video. You can see the yellow one's not here. The yellow one is actually plugged into the back right here of the splitter. And I just got this from, I think it was Amazon. You're not going to be able to find something like this in the stores anymore, especially since it's obviously a VHS combo as well as a DVD, and they don't make VHS anymore. But regardless, it is a splitter, so the yellow one's plugged in back here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but the yellow one's plugged back in here, and the other yellow one is plugged into the other yellow outlet. Because this one, they're both yellow outlets, it's kind of hard to tell. They're both yellow, but one's plugged into here, and the one for the white set is plugged into here. So whenever you get the extra pack of red, white, and yellow cables that come with it, that's not what it's designed for, but they are here. You can use the yellow one in the alternative slot right here for the video going to another location besides your computer screen. And you can use the red and white ones here for audio. Whether you want to have it on your TV or not is fine. I keep the sound of my TV off because I don't want it to echo too bad. So, I mean, it may from the speakers, but I don't want it to echo too bad, so I keep the sound off, but I do have them plugged in this case. And this cable actually runs back through here and around to the back of this TV. And also the sensor bar is up here as well, as you can see. But that's actually what it's hooked up to. So the sensor bar is on my TV. So that's why I'm playing it on my TV. I'm pointing at the sensor bar, not at my computer screen. And also the cables are plugged into here. So if I turn my TV on, we'll get it set up. Now, in the case for this splitter, it is going to be a little bit different because you'll notice once my TV actually turns on here in a second. then it's not immediately popping up, the TV's on. Well, why is it not doing that? Well, the reason for that is the splitter itself has to be turned on. So the power button's right here, so if I turn this on, there you go. It's on both screens. So if I get my Wii remote, you can see a little bit of difference, maybe, in lag. Not a terribly high amount. There's a very small amount. My computer runs it pretty well, so it's not a terribly, a terrible difference, so I wouldn't worry about it too much in my case. But either way, if you've got an older computer, that might be why. As for where the power's plugged in, obviously the power cable for the back of the Wii is plugged into here. As you can see where the gray cord is, it actually goes up and back around like that. For my splitter, it's also plugged into the same set. I've got 2 power strips in the room, the other one's actually right there. So yeah, I've got way too many cables in here regardless, but either way, that is how that runs for the video. And that's pretty much it. So, press record, stop to stop, and then you'll go from there. I'm going to show a little bit of a demonstration later in the video. Alright, so moving to the sound, we just went over the video. The sound's actually a lot easier than the video is. As for what program you want to use for this, I use 2 different sounds, 2 different ways to record my sound, depending on whether I've got somebody with me or not on Skype. If I've got somebody on Skype, I'll show that in a second, but if it's just me or if it's somebody else in the room, you can use Audacity, which I have down here, and it'll pull it up here in a second. It might have, yeah, it's going to be right here. So I've got Audacity right here. You can download this, and it's free. I'm not going to put a link because, putting links and stuff generally doesn't work that well. But you can search Audacity on Google. You'll find it almost immediately. It's free, so you don't have to pay for it. That's not that big of a deal. The microphone that I used to use was actually on this camera. As you can see, I obviously don't use that setup anymore. I used to use the camera and that tripod that's back there. And then after that, I started using a headset, which I actually don't use that anymore. It's in here somewhere, but I don't use that anymore. What I use now is actually a Blue Snowball microphone, which I have over here on the side, and it looks like this. So this one's really good for group recordings. It'll pick stuff up at the back of my room pretty well, and it definitely does work. I'm not going to show a recording example because then it's going to echo kind of strangely, but this is what it looks like. And what it is for the plug-in is the setup for this is pretty simple. It actually plugs in at the back right here. This can actually be taken off. The little ball can be taken off. This is just a thing that screws on, screws off. And right here on the back, you see that's a little bit of a plug-in. So I've got the cord set up for that right here. And on one end, we have the actual thing that plugs into the back of this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And then the other end of it is also USB. So in addition to having the capture card plug-in, I've also got my sound for my USB from this microphone also set up right here. And if I could actually plug it in, that'd be even better. So once you get that plugged in correctly, it'll have that little light on the top right there. You'll have to switch it in Audacity to for your microphone. You'll have to switch it to the right thing, which since mine wasn't plugged in, I'm going to close it and reopen it, so it'll actually register that it's there now. As you can see, it says microphone Blue Snowball. Let me zoom in so you can actually read it. It's a little blurry, but that's what it says. It's microphone Blue Snowball, so that's what it is. And so now that it's picked that up, whenever I hit record right here, it'll just record my voice. And it's a pretty good microphone, so you don't have to worry about it too much. That's pretty much all I do is just hit record to record. Once again, stop to stop. Once you're done, you'll go to File, and then you'll go to Export. I'm going to show a quick version of that. It might echo right here, but if we're just doing a test recording or something like this, it's not going to matter. So, I actually had to turn the Snowball microphone because it's not really cooperating with me here. And close enough. And so if we play it back, you might be able to hear it, maybe not, I don't know. If we're just doing a test recording or something like this, it's not going to matter, so. And so that's basically what it'll sound like. So once you're done with that, you'll go to File and then Export. And I always just save it at the desktop, so file name doesn't matter. I'll just save it under Test, I guess. If I can actually show it right there. And then you'll just hit Save. And it'll show you all these little things right here. These really don't matter if you're just recording voice for whatever, and you're going to delete these pretty quickly. You hit OK. And then this one's saved right away because it was a very short file. If you're recording for longer periods of time, because typically I record somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour, depending on what the game is and how much footage I'm going to cut, you might get a little bit of a waiting time for it to actually load on your page, but it's not that big a deal. It's going to show up as a WAV file. You can see it right here. I might want to zoom out so you can actually get better quality. But that's what it'll look like, and then whenever you use that, that's half of what you need. So if we record a video real quick, we'll go ahead and show that. Just record a video of the screen, and I will click on, be easier for you guys to see it over here. I'll click on Majora's Mask and hit start. One other thing I want to mention is with the setup I have, the dimensions on my TV are a little bit awkward. So whenever I saved it under input, you can see it on the sides right here where the arrows are that kind of go off the screen a little bit. So I have a little bit of the screen that I can't see, as opposed to on the capture card where I can see the full thing. So sometimes when I say I can't see something on my TV, that's why. But we've got this recording for 30 seconds, so that'll be good right there. And go ahead and hit stop. You'll take that into the folder right here, and you'll pull it out. Let's move this over. So now you've got the video file and also the test. So let's rename this real quick to test 2, I guess. That'll work. If I could hit the right buttons, that'd be even better. So now we've got the video file and the sound file both. So how are we going to put those together? Well, I'm actually going to show that in the next episode. Well, not the next episode, but I'm going to show it in the next little part right here. And what I'm going to do is actually record like a legitimate thing so it looks real as opposed to this little test thing. So I will see you guys in a second. Alright, so we have what an actual recording setup is going to look like here. We have my TV on one side, and we also have the capture card on the other, and we have my microphone sitting right in the middle. Now, normally I would have the microphone over close to my computer, but I'm setting it in the middle so you guys can see it. Normally it would be where my computer is. Since I'm watching my TV screen, I obviously don't want a gigantic little ball right in the way, because then I can't see what I'm doing in game. Either way, you'll have it set up like this. I'm going to also pull up Audacity here, switch that and move it over here, and then move this right here. So I'm going to hit record at the same time. You can't really see my mouse here, unfortunately. I'm going to hit record at the same time on these, or pretty close, as close as humanly possible. And we're going to start recording. Now you're going to hear my voice be the same back to back, but then I'm going to switch it to what you guys are going to see here in a second, where it's just this screen. So I'm going to pretend like it's an LP, and then we're actually just going over a course, pretty straightforward. I'm just going to do the first one. Alright, so we got course number 1 here, which is Big Bomb on the Summit. And starting off, you'll get a pretty decent layout of what the battlefield will look like. There's no area you can fall off the side of the stage, fortunately. We're just going to go to the top of this mountain and fight King Babam. It's a pretty straightforward mission. There's actually a couple times where you'll need to go about to the top of the mountain or all the way to the top of the mountain. Either way, the controls are pretty simple. You're just going to have to do a little bit of dodging, avoiding the chain chomp and some of those little balls as they come down from the side of the mountain. Other than that, though, it's pretty straightforward. You're not going to be able to use any of the cannons yet, unfortunately. But one of these things shows up, you can just jump over it. You can also use warps to make it quicker to get to the top. One of them is right here. We can just warp right here, and voila, we're at the top. And we'll talk to King Babam. He's going to challenge us for the Royal Power Star, which I've already collected. As you can see, I have 120 on this file. And that's totally not what I'm supposed to do. Good job, me. Failing on multiple levels right now. So you're going to go around behind King Babam, press B to pick him up, and then you're going to press B again to throw him. And you're going to have to do this 3 times to finish him off. Make sure that you don't throw him out of the ring because that will not count as a hit, and he'll complain that you can't throw the king outside of the arena. You're going to have him walk a little bit because as you see, if he's standing still, you can't get behind him. So he is going to have to start walking a little bit before you can actually go behind him and pick him up. Once you do that, though, it's very simple, and after 3 hits, he will give you the Power Star. And I'm actually standing right on top of it. That's convenient. And that ends the mission. And so in effect, that's what it looks like. It's not that difficult to figure out. I mean, it's fairly straightforward. Basically, what you guys are going to be seeing is what was on the TV on the left here in a second. But first, I'm going to show you how to put it all together. So we just finished recording this. Now that we've taken care of everything on here, I'm going to close this other Audacity file that we don't need. We're going to do the same thing that I said earlier. We're going to go to File on the Audacity, and we're going to export it. I always do the Audacity one first in case it has to load for anything. We're just going to put 64, I guess. That'll work, because I'll know it's Mario 64. Just title it something you know that it will be. And we're going to hit OK here. And there's a little bit of a loading screen, not too much. It was only 2 minutes long, so it wasn't that much. 64 is right there. Now to get the video, we're going to go to the folder right here, right click this and rename it, and I'm also going to rename that 64 as well. Then click off it to let the name actually register and pull it out of there. You can close this out now, you're not going to need it anymore, so we're going to close that out. It'll still be over here obviously. But either way, now that that's been taken care of, you also won't hear the Mario 64 background music. As awesome as it is, we're not going to be able to hear it. Now to edit this all together, we're actually going to be using Camtasia Studio, which is kind of in the top right here. Maybe you can see it. I'll go ahead and click on it now. Camtasia Studio does take a little while to load. It's a good software to use. It is a little expensive. The thing is, though, they have keys all over the place. You can obviously just search for the keys as well as Camtasia Studio on Google. I can't provide the keys, I can't provide the link, once again, just like Audacity, but you can search it and find it pretty easily and use any of those keys to unlock it. The version I use is 7. I could switch to 8, but I prefer 7 for what I've seen of 8. So this is what the layout of the area is going to look like. So we have a couple of different things here. We have record the screen, import media, produce and share, and then we've also got the file down here. I'm going to go ahead and close this now. So now that's the only thing we have up. Now there's two ways to actually import it. You can go to import media right here and then go to your desktop and find whatever you want. In this case it's the 64, so it's right here and right here. So you can import it that way. Or you can actually just highlight the two things and then drag them down to the bottom of your toolbar. This will pop up and you can drop them here. Now the thing with right here, it says unable to create the thumbnail image for the file 64.mpeg, unable to decode the video stream. This file may not be supported. So it picked up the actual sound clip just fine. The problem is it won't be able to pick the movie clip up, and that's what it's saved at, is a movie clip. Now since it won't be able to do this, what we have to do is actually go to a video converter, which I use FreeMake for this. FreeMake, once again, you can find it. It is free, obviously, FreeMake. But you can find that, you can do a search on it, you'll be able to find it pretty easily. This one probably won't take too long. If it does, I'll cut, but I don't think it will take that long to convert this since it's very short. As soon as it'll load up, it does take a little bit to load right there. And now we can click the movie file and drag it onto here. And once it opens it, it'll have it right here and it'll have the length and whatever. And you can go to convert and you can change it to any of these things down here. Now the one we're going to change it to is WMV. And that's the file that I prefer to change it to. It's a very small file, but it works really well and it keeps the it'll keep the quality at a pretty decent amount. It's not going to be HD perfect, but it's what you guys normally see in recordings nowadays. So that's what I use, and then you're just going to convert it. It's going to pull up with this screen, and it won't tell you how long it's going to take. This one's obviously not taking that long. You can click the box to shut down the PC after the process is completed. I don't know why you would do that. Maybe if it was a gigantic file, it would, do a little bit of a number on your computer and such. You can pause the file or cancel it right here, which obviously I'm not going to do that. It's at about 20% right now, so you're going to wait for this to convert. You can convert multiple ones at a time, which sometimes I'll do that if I've recorded 3 or 4 things and I'm waiting for them to convert to WMV. Usually what I'll do is leave it on overnight and let them convert then, or I'll leave it on during the day if I'm leaving to go to work or something like that, and I'll let it convert then. The most I've ever converted was about 3.5 hours worth of footage, and it didn't have any problem doing that. There weren't any errors. I've never had something get corrupted from this. I know a lot of people that like to use the other types of capture cards. Sometimes they can have stuff corrupt. But I've never had any file corrupt on this capture card. Sometimes it will have problems with the USB after a while. The one that I had prior obviously had problems with the USB whenever you guys saw cuts. I did get the new one in, and this one's been serving me for a couple months, and it hasn't given me any trouble, so it may have just been that one. But if it does give you any trouble, you can always just uninstall and reinstall the software, and that worked a couple times. The reason it didn't start working at the end for me is because the actual outlet on the USB was messed up because my cats got to it and they chewed it up. And so obviously it wasn't the same shape to fit in the computer anymore. But the one I have now is fine, so we don't have to worry about that. And this is about done. It's at 90%, so once it's done, 7, 98, 99, and it will let you know. It'll pop up on the bottom. It'll give you a little orange glow, so you'll know their conversion was completed successfully. You can close all this out now, and you can see there's another 64 right here. This one, if you can read that, is actually under a Windows Media Audio Video file, so it's a WMV, basically. And so now you can click and drag this one, and this one actually works. So you're going to take the video and put it down here. It'll ask for your dimensions. I'm just going to leave it the way it is for right now. And then you're going to take the 64, which is the audio for this, and you're going to move it down here. So now you've got the video and the audio together. The problem is, if you guys hear this... Alright, so we got course number 1 here, which is based on... And starting off... See the problem?
Yeah, the problem is the audio on the actual game is really loud, and my audio is really quiet. And it's actually quieter than normal because I had to record with the camera, so I was sitting farther back from my mic than I typically do. But regardless of that, it did take more time. So the first thing I always do on this is, if you've got a little excess audio right here, which sometimes you will, just because you can't click on the buttons at the same time, obviously. So you're just going to go to this little button right here and hit split, or you can right-click the file right here, and it'll pull up with a whole bunch of options and splits on there. You can split that, and then right-click this little piece that's left over, and remove that from the timeline. Once you've done that, you can right-click the files and edit the audio. Now what this will enable you to do, you can use the stuff up here, but what you can do is just click and drag the files and make the green line go higher or lower. If you make it go lower, the volume will be less. The volume right now, if I moved it to right here, is at about 22% of what it was normally. So that'll make it much smaller. For my audio, I'll raise it to 150. And so now what it'll look like if we actually go back, and I'll just start from right here. Here, which is Big Problem on the Summit. And starting off, you'll get a pretty decent layout of what the battlefield... So you can actually see, you know, a decent change in it. It actually sounds, you know, where the audio from the game and my audio are actually even. It's not massively disproportionate like it was. Now the other thing on this is you can see some black outlines on the side. You got some here and pretty much in all the spots. For that, you can go to the zoom and pan option right here and move your cursor all the way back to the start on the timeline, because if you've got it set right here and you try to zoom and pan it from there, it's not going to zoom in on the video until that point. So you want to start right from the beginning. What you want to do is click off the box that says maintain aspect ratio, and then you're going to scroll right here, and it will probably make it check backwards. It does that sometimes. And you're just going to move these little symbols around right here to crop it as you need to. And then once it's all outlined in yellow, you can see there's no more black lines right here. So whenever we play it this time, there's no black lines anymore, like there was a second ago. For videos like this, that's pretty much all you need to do. If you need to split something, you can obviously split it with this and then take it out like I do. You can take other sounds from Pokemon Coliseum. I've been using the Cypher Peon battle quite a bit. You can take that and import it in here, and you can, you know, remove whatever audio you need to. If you need to take the audio off the game but not your actual audio, you can go up here to the edit option, and it will say unlink audio 1 from video 1. You can do that, so where you can take the game audio out, but you don't take the actual, your actual voice out. So if you need the game audio to be deleted, that's how you would do so. Because normally if you deleted the game audio and it was still attached, it would delete the actual, you know, the video itself as well. Instead of just the sound from the video, it would delete the whole thing. And then you'd just be left with your audio. That's pretty much all you're going to do for this. If you want to add like little message boxes or stuff like that, I did that in the past quite a bit. You can go over here to the callouts, and you can find little text things, and you can type this in right here. Usually you'll have to change the color and the size quite a bit, but if you type something in right here, it'll show up. So as you can see right there, that's how you would add something in there. And then whenever you got to that point in the video, it would show up like this. You can also use warps to make it quicker to get to the top. One of them is right here. And then it'll show up, and then it'll go away in a second here. Yeah. So you can do that. You can also change the size of how long you want it on there. You can make it stay on for a while. You can make it really short. On this actual thing, you can choose to whether have it fade in or fade out or not. You can choose, you know, if you want to keep it there, or if you just want it to pop up, or if you want it to fade in. You can choose how long you want it to fade in, like how long it takes. Obviously, if I made it longer, the line right here would be longer than it was. Either way, I'm not going to keep that in here. I'm going to remove that from timeline. And this is kind of something you're going to have to play around with quite a bit. I've never used the transitions for anything important, so I wouldn't worry about that. I never save anything to the library. I don't think I've actually used any of these other things other than cursor effects, and that was simply to take the mouse cursor out. So whenever I show you the other way to record things using Skype, or using the Camtasia screen recorder, which is right here, how to record with a group, that is how you would get rid of your mouse. Either way, that is about it for this. So the last thing you're going to do is go to Produce and Share. And you'll have a whole bunch of different things right here. What I have it set to is YouTube. YouTube's a preset for me. So what you're going to do the first time, you're going to go to Add Edit Preset, and it will give you this little box right here. And it'll say Production Presents. You can title it whatever you want to. You can edit one or make a new one. We're going to make a new one right here. We'll keep the preset name on Title Preset. The description doesn't matter. You're going to decide what you want the final thing to be as, whether it's MP4, WMV, MOV, anything like that. And it will give you a description on the bottom here of why you would use it. So in WMV's case, it says, since you guys can't really read it, it says it's recommended for higher motion screen recordings. It creates smaller streaming videos with a slight loss in quality, and it requires media player, which should be installed on everyone's computer. So that's what you'll change it to. You hit next. It will ask for the profiles, which you just always use the one that they recommend for that. You shouldn't have any need to edit that. It will ask for your background color, but since you're going to take the cropping all out of that, it doesn't matter what that is. You can use a preset video size or a custom size. I use a custom one, even though the preset also has 640 by 480, and that's what you can also use. You go to next again. You can decide if you want to include a watermark or not. I don't, obviously, on mine, since the YouTube has like the little watermark thing now. So you can click off the watermark. I'm pretty sure it's checked automatically normally. And then you would finish and close that out. And now on here it would show up under Untitled Preset. But I'm going to go ahead and use mine for this one. And then you'll go to your production name. This is just whatever you want to title your video. Obviously you can change it when uploading something to YouTube. So we'll just save it as Test64. If I can actually hit 4, not 3. It'll ask what folder you want to do, or what folder you want to show up as when you're done. I, once again, save it to the desktop. It'll also ask if you want to organize your produced files into subfolders. You don't want to do that, because then you have to go hunting through folders on your desktop looking for it. And if you do forget to click that, you have to click it each time. There will be a folder on your desktop that'll say Test64. In this case, you'll click on that, and then you'll find it in there, but there's no reason to do that. You can play the video after production, but once again, I don't find a real reason to do that. I do that on my own after it's all done. So then you're going to hit finish, and you'll get this little rendering project thing right here. As you can see, it's rendering fairly quickly right here. But either way, that's how you get the actual video recorded. Once it's done, it'll show up on your desktop, or wherever you decided to save it to, and it'll actually also come back up, like the Camtasia thing will, in case you want to edit it further, or if you realized you made a mistake. And if you did that, if you realize the mistake you made or how to make something better while this is going on, you can hit cancel and it will show back up. If you want to save a project, you can obviously do that and go under File and Save Project and save it there. Because if you don't save it and your computer crashes or whatever, then you're going to have to redo any of the work that you've done prior for it. So now that it's actually finished right here, as you can see, it's back to where it was right here. I'm going to minimize this, and we have Test64 right here. Alright, so we got course number 1 here, which is Big Bomb on the Summit. And starting off, you'll get a pretty decent layout of what the battlefield will look like. There's no area you can fall off the side of the stage, fortunately. We're just going to go to the top of this mountain and fight King Bomb. It's a pretty straightforward mission. There's actually a couple times you'll need to go about to the top of the mountain or all the way to the top of the mountain. Alright, so we've gone over what a basic recording looks like. What we haven't gone over is how to record through Skype, and also how you would record something like Visual Boy Advance or anything like that. Anything you want to record on your actual computer. So let's take a look at a little bit of a difference of what recording setup would be like for this. Now, instead of using the capture card or any software like that, you're going to be using your capture card, assuming it's something that you want to have commentary for. But if it's just going to be a regular game that you want to play on, like, let's say Visual Boy Advance, for example. I've got the file right here. Click on this and open it up. Go to File, Open, and I'll choose a ROM like, I don't know, how about Pokemon Emeralds right here. Easy to get to. Then you can actually see that it's in full screen. So, let's say we want to record this. I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller so you can get a better idea of what it looks like. So, we'll make the size about that big. So, it's playing the game. Now, to record this, and just this, you can record the game audio with it, which I don't know if the sound is actually on. It is on. Yeah, I can hear it. Let me turn it up a little bit so you guys can hear it. There we go. That's better. So, let's say we want to record that. We can go up here on Camtasia Screen Recorder and go to Record the Screen. And it'll take a second, but it will do it eventually. And it'll come with this little box right here and a little thing right here. I'm going to move this down here so it's easier to see. What this is this is going to tell you what's all being recorded. So, what you're going to do is drag this around until you have the dimensions you want. So, obviously, I'm going to overlay it with the game. It's not going to be perfect because I'm not going to try that hard for this one. I want to make this very quick. So, that's what it'll look like in effect. And what you've got down here is you can actually see the bar moving up and down right now, that little bar. That's actually it picking up my Blue Snowball mic, which is still over here and still being... It's not recording this right now, but was using it to record earlier, obviously. So you've got your dimension set up. You can make it go full screen with this if you want to. The thing you want to check is when your audio is on, is whatever microphone it's on. So in this case, it's on Blue Snowball. So you can choose to have it be on a microphone, or you can choose to have it not record a microphone. In this case, I'm not going to have it record a microphone since my Blue Snowball mic is right there, and it would sound really weird if I did so. But normally if I was going to play over with commentary, I would have this selected, so I'm going to hit Do Not Record. The other thing you want to check is record system audio. That means, is it going to record the sound for the game? If you don't want to record the sound for the game, this needs to be unchecked. If you want it recorded, you need to make sure it's checked. And that's pretty much what you have to do. Make sure that your sound is right on here, assuming you are using, your voice for it. And then you're going to hit record, and it'll give you a little bit of a countdown. 1. And then you have to click back on it to play it. But it'll play like this, and, I'm just going to record a couple of seconds of it. You've obviously got the delete, pause, and stop right here. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop right now. And it'll play out the file, and it'll pull it up for you. You can still hear the sound, obviously. You would be able to hear my voice along with it if that was the case. And, you have to do the balancing before you start the recording as opposed to after in this case. But once you do that, you can either delete it, save and edit, and produce it. If you go ahead and save and edit, we'll save it as Capture 1. And it'll actually pull up Camtasia for you and get you started right here. So as you can see, you can still hear it. It's pulled up right here. There's no black lines this time, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. The thing you do have to worry about is you can actually see at the start right here, if I pause it, my mouse is still on there. You can see the actual one. My real one's right here, but the one that was on the screen is right here. Now the way to remove that is, like I said, it was on the other thing right here. So we can go to More and go to Cursor Effects. And you can see up right here, it says Make Mouse Cursor Visible. So if I click off of that to make my cursor go away, it does this. So now it's not there anymore. So that's how you take the cursor off. That's pretty much all you need to do. Like I said, the bars won't be there anymore. The audio, if you had your voice in there, I didn't for this one, it would be normal, and there wouldn't be a problem with that at all. So it would, it's to be known. The only thing you're going to have to do is take the cursor off, assuming you want it to not be on there. Or if you, moved it off. If you left it on there by accident, that would be how you would remove it from doing so. Other than that, the producing the share is the same thing. It will save the file whenever you saved under there. It will save it as a, one of these files. So what it'll do, instead of saving it under, movie thing, it'll save it under a Camtasia recorder document. And they're rather large, so you probably don't want to record too many of these at once. But that's how they work. Basically, I'm going to go ahead and throw it in the recycle bin right now and empty it. But either way, that's basically how they work. So now what we're going to do is I'm actually going to switch to having this be on the tripod, and I have a guinea pig with me, so we'll actually be doing a quick recording of Castle Crashers with commentary just to show you guys how it works, basically. Alright, so now that we've done that, I'm actually got part of a game set up right here, and I'm going to go ahead and call our little friend who is going to be helping me with this, aka the guinea pig Mytho. So let's go ahead and invite him to that. Enter that. And he should call me momentarily. This does look a little bit fuzzy, like it's got this little weird thing going on, but whenever you hit record, that will go away. Make sure that your audio is set back to the microphone in this case, and that's pretty much all you need to do for this. It'll pick up the other person's, so... he should call me in a minute, or if not, I will call him. One or the other. It'd probably be easier if I called him, though. Return to game. And yeah, I'll go ahead and just call him. Which means you're going to hear my annoying little ringtone. Oh, well, he'll get over it.
Hello.
Hello. So you all set?
I am ready when you get.
Alright, it's all set up, so just whenever you want to join in, I sent you that invite, so should be good.
Oh, yeah. I did not see that. Never tell your password to anyone.
Of course. That would invoke the end of the world.
How are you gonna make friends then?
I know, right?
Everyone I meet wants to know my password.
Exactly. That's the first thing you ask anybody, is what's your password, and what room are you staying in?
I was about to say, what's your social security number and what room you staying in?
That's the first two things.
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Patrick. What room you staying in?
You can choose whoever you want for this. Just make sure it's not a level 1 character, since it's just gonna be a quick thing.
I mean, Red's the highest character I have, so guess I'll choose him.
We'll just use the ones that we used for the playthrough in the course of 2 days that we finished the game in. Or, like, a total of 6 hours, give or take.
You want to try to beat it on insane mode sometime?
Oh, absolutely. We need to get... I need to take the red character and max him out, because I'm really good with the red guy. We need to take the red guy, and I'll max him out, and you max one of your guys out.
I'll max the green character out.
Alrighty, awesome. Let's just do the boss level. I just need something really quickly, so it won't be that big a deal.
So it's a thing to test your recording?
It's just to show off to everybody else how it would record for through Skype, and also for something on your screen as opposed to through the capture card. Which also means since we're fighting this guy at like level 25 and 17, he'll go down really quickly. And also that I am incompetent at hitting him the way you're supposed to.
Oh, well that happens.
Oh, if you got the Red Knight maxed out on his magic, you can beat him with one magic attack.
Wow. That's the barbarian's part.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm down. Good lag.
Yeah, it's a little bit laggy.
This is the best game for lag.
I know, right?
Oh god, my shields, they didn't work.
Oh no.
Hey.
Oh wow, that actually hits you. I'm very surprised. Oh no. I don't know why I'm trying to do that. Magic's probably not a good idea. My guy doesn't have any magic maxed out at all. Oh well.
He's so cute.
He is.
Blue eyes.
Okay, that's really about all we need. Wow, it's lagging on the overworld now because I'm recording this with the recorder. Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Want to try to play insane mode or something, or level up first?
Trust me, you want to level up first. A lot. But I don't need to for this recording. That was just a quick recording. But after this, yes, we need to start leveling up our guys.
Sure thing.
Alright. So that is pretty much how you would record with somebody on Skype, so you guys will actually see what it will look like whenever we're done with this.
This is the best game for lag.
I know, right?
Oh god, my shields, they didn't work.
Oh no! Oh wow, that actually hits you. I'm very surprised.